For people who don't know my story all that well, I'll try to keep it brief, but I started teaching myself how to write code back when I was about 12 years old, so over 26 years ago. And I taught myself back then how to write code by myself at home in rural Pennsylvania because I just wanted to learn this new thing called coding, or at least it was new to me at the time. This is back in 1994 or so, and I just wanted to learn how to make things on the computer. And I taught myself how to learn code, and I became pretty good at it over the years, so that by the time I actually graduated college, I had already held multiple positions, part-time jobs, as a coder. And my first job out of college, I even got without knowing the platform that they wanted me to program on, but I had enough experience at the time that they gave me a shot at learning this new platform, learning this new programming language, and jumping in that way. And that job went really well for about a year and a half. I ended up moving on to a different position, which paid even better and was even in a newer tech stack. And I got really excited about jumping into that job. And I was there at that position for about 7 years, but the interesting thing about that job was that about a year and a half into that second job out of college, I completely hit a wall and I found myself completely stuck. And I was bored out of my mind, and I started to question whether this industry that I had only been in for about 2 years and change outside of college and in a full-time capacity, but an industry that I had been deeply involved in for at least 11 or 12 years since I taught myself how to code way back when, I started to question whether or not it was for me. And I started to question whether I made the right choice in learning this skill and in going to school for this, teaching myself all of these other things, going down this career path. And I started to get bored, and I started to really question whether or not I should continue in this or if I should move on and do something different. And there was really one thing that got me out of that rut. And it is one thing that is proven true about the software industry and now is proving to be true about so many other industries. And that's that I got pulled out of that rut whenever I started to learn and started to grow again. But learning and growing are not exactly the point of what I want to talk to you about today. And what really pulled me out of that rut was a mentor that I had at the time. It wasn't exactly a manager of mine. I was a full-time consultant, so I didn't really have a manager in that contract role. But this person was definitely, absolutely a mentor to me. And he helped to show me new ways of coding. He helped to show me new ways of approaching my craft. Taught me new ways to build product, new design patterns that we have in software engineering. Taught me new ways to think about my process and think about how we built and delivered great software. Taught me all sorts of concepts which won't make sense to a lot of the non-technical folks in the audience, but taught me about continuous integration, taught me about test-driven development and automated testing and all of these other things that I had no idea existed. And I had been completely content just doing the same thing over and over again until I got stuck, at which point I just thought that that was the way things were going to be. And I thought that it kind of sucked the way things were. And that was the only way that I was going to move on in my career, was going to be doing the same things over and over and over again in this complete rut that I had been in. And I mention this partly because that mentor that I had was not only a leader to me, but it's what he showed me. It's what he created in myself and in so many other people that really lends itself to what I'm going to tell you that is the single most important thing that you need in order to take on a leadership role.